Yeah, take that, zombies. What's up, guys and gals? Jared here with another high-octane fueled movie review. So last night I was able to catch the new bad robot film, Overlord. On the eve of D-Day, American paratroopers drop behind enemy lines to penetrate the walls of a fortified church and destroy a radio transmitter. As the soldiers approach their target, they soon begin to realize that there's more going on. Making their way to an underground lab, the outnumbered men stumble upon a sinister experiment. So is Overlord the altered history World War II movie you were hoping for? Let's find out. Now, before I get into my thoughts, let me know what you guys thought of Overlord in the comments down below. Was this the wild Nazi zombie ride you were hoping for? And what other sci-fi zombies do you like? Now let's get into some of the good things this film did. Overlord is exactly what I wanted. It's this gritty World War II action mixed with like these weird sci-fi elements and stuff. It honestly felt like Call of Duty Zombies mixed with Wolfenstein, mixed with just kind of this altered history stuff. Starting with the action, this is a truly engaging, enthralling movie. Like, starting from the first 10 minutes, there's like these planes flying through these Nazi cannon explosions all the way down, you know, then it gets down to the ground and there's shootouts. Like, throughout this whole movie, you are really engaged in the action. This movie digs its claws into you and you're just taken along for this ride, and honestly, I was totally enthralled in this movie. I was into it. I had gotten a drink and I completely forgot about it until the very end of the film. And not only does director Julius Avery do the action really great in this film, there's also this sense of like tension and horror and uncertainty throughout most of this film. From the real life horrors of war, from, you know, getting captured or stepping on a mine, all the way down to kind of like the wild imagination of what you've maybe seen or what you have seen, stuff coming from your most horrifying nightmares. Moving on, the ensemble of soldiers and some of the villagers that they meet up with is another thing that made this movie so watchable. These relationships are really set up in like the first 10 minutes of the film, and then we're off to the races. Like, Wyatt Russell is kind of like the head of this ragtag group, and he's clearly just there to get this mission done, whether it's life or death. While Jovan Adipo really embodies kind of the audience member, you know, showing sympathy towards certain characters, that really being scared of war and being absolutely terrified of the unknown or unexplained when he sees something. Rounding it out is Mathilda Oliver, I believe that's her name. She's kind of like this French villager that really helps these Americans. You know, she's had the Nazis take family members, really do horrible things to her. You know, she's basically left with nothing and is definitely out for revenge. Also, she's a strong female character, and I thought she worked really well in this film. Peppering in a few other characters, this really made this like family-like crew that was really enjoyable to watch throughout this film. Now, I will say that Overlord was not really perfect in my opinion. I mean, it dips its toe into the sci-fi elements. That's definitely what drives this film, but once it gets just a little bit flavor into the mix, it kind of backs off of that. Once we're in the compound, we see these crazy, unexplained experiments, but then it doesn't really escalate from there. I was hoping that we get this like full-blown sci-fi video gamey stuff where there's like even more creatures, each of them having like these own like unique traits to them, and then also finding these like experimental weapons that are used to take them out. And lastly, another thing that kind of didn't really work for me were certain plot points or kind of the way that the movie kind of went. This movie is very much action, 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 with a few scenes kind of dropped in there to reveal things, explain things, until we move on to the next action set piece. These breaks weren't bad per se, but some of them kind of like, it took characters out of the picture, and personally for me, I was wondering, I was like, what happened to these characters? Because they just show back up like nothing happened. I mean, how long were they gone? What were they doing? Did they run into anyone? Did they have anything of noteworthiness that happened to them? It kind of avoids some of that stuff and just assumes that you know what's going on. Also, why do Nazi generals in film always have a thing for a beautiful woman, are close talkers, and very much rapey? Were those the qualifications to gain rank? Overall, Overlord is this action-packed World War II ride, and honestly, the best video game movie I've ever seen. With some really enthralling action, a sense of tension, really cool kind of sci-fi alternate history elements, and an ensemble chemistry. But wanting to go more into the sci-fi elements and kind of some meandering plot points, I would highly recommend checking out Overlord. This is probably going to land in my top 10 of 2018, and I just had a blast with this movie along for this fun ride. So what did you think of Overlord? I want to know in the comments down below. Anyways, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Follow all of my social media stuff over there. There's more videos down there. Watch those, like those, comment on those. Subscribe over there if you haven't. Check out my shirts on TeePublic. And yeah, I'll see you later.